this is the month where it becomes increasingly clear that Spike TV is the destination.
Spike TV.
Yeah, I should have said that backwards so that you understood me. It's very funny. So at the start of No Surrender, there did this big artsy video package that had a bunch of hidden messages in it. One of which was TNA is coming to Spike TV, which is technically the official announcement that TNA is coming to Spike TV.
To be fair, I don't hate doing something like that, especially if you're going to announce it like soon after. Like, it's a fun little thing that like will get some underground buzz.
Yeah, and by all accounts, I think it worked. I think, like, forums in particular were popping off about the whole, like, Rhino is here, more are coming kind of thing, which is one of the messages. They were also, obviously, like, once they say TNA is coming to Spike TV, people worked that out. I wonder, did they think people wouldn't work it out? I'd imagine they had to think they would, because it's quite obvious that they're running it backwards. It's not like there's a real bad code to crack.
No. Vince fears Jeff Jarrett.
Vince fears Jeff Jarrett is so funny. Because it's like, it's such a petty little one. It's not even like the folks up north fear TNA or TNA's taking over and they're scared.
I think he's talking about Vince Russo. I don't know what you're talking about.
Maybe he is. But like, Vince fears Jeff Jarrett.
And also not TNA.
Yeah, it's just Jeff.
Jeff Jarrett specifically.
Bree Woo scare Vince.
Scares Jeff.
I did appreciate a little bit of foreshadowing as well when it said someone will get gored tonight. Raven was on the screen.
Oh, I didn't even notice that.
So yeah, and Raven was the one who got gored.
Wow.
So they were dropping hints. But yes, but the big story is that TNA is in fact coming to Spike TV. It hasn't been officially announced, but it's all but announced at this stage. Well, technically it has been officially announced, I guess, given it was in the pay-per-view opening video. But at the moment, TNA is currently still airing on the internet. And as all wrestling broadcasts on the internet, Liam, it went fine. No technical problems at all.
No, I remember watching Ring of Honor on the iPay-per-view and it always worked.
Oh god, I do remember watching Ring of Honor on iPay-per-view.
It was the most, like, upsetting time. Everyone was just angry all the time.
Because I don't think Go Fight Live ever aired literally anything else.
They said this is going to be the thing that we stock our live content with, and we're going to fuck it up every time.
Yeah, and I remember, I think it was whatever the final battle that had like a 60-minute Tyler Black Austin Aries match. And there was like a bunch of technical issues and it was like 4 a.m. and those dudes went a fucking hour. And I was like, no, stop, no.
And also their problems went for like 4 years. Like they just never got it.
And I think a lot of companies never got it because Gabe's catchphrase became, how's the stream?
I think like we've mostly got it down now. Ironically, the only place that doesn't seem to get it is New Japan in the US.
Though their last show went fine.
I believe the TV Asahi people did that as one. That's why.
So if you think wrestling companies have been disastrous at doing this in times of greater technological advancement, TNA uploading a file to the website apparently caused great deals of problems in June 2005. TNA experienced many server problems during the first week of TNA Impact broadcasts being shown exclusively on their website. After a several-hour delay on Friday, June 24th, the new Impact broadcast was released on TNA's website, but not easily accessible. TNA created a downloadable file for fans to view the broadcast at their own leisure instead of streaming the broadcast online, which would have resulted in buffering problems from the sheer volume of visitors. But TNA ran into problems because the file was too large to download in a reasonable period of time without interruptions. As I was mentioning on the last episode, like they put up a full like, here's how to download uTorrent, here's how to download the file, blah de blah, but apparently people didn't have fast enough internet speeds in the year 2005 to download that file particularly quickly, especially when a bunch of people were trying to download it at once, causing strain on the servers.
Come on, guys, seed it, remember.
Yeah, if you still have that sitting in your uTorrent from 18 years ago, please seed it, because you can actually still find the download link for this episode, which is very funny. It's wild to think, like, 2005 download times, not great, but probably not the worst. But it's wild to think, one, we were talking about the TNA On Demand, which I haven't heard a word about. I assume they've gotten rid of it at this stage, but like an actual streaming service in 2003, which is crazy. And now it's like, here's the episode on the internet, download it. It's like, TNA on the cusp of technology. Fair enough, not due to reasons of their choice this time, because they're currently between TV deals, but it's fun to see TNA trying to innovate in the field when they're forced to.
Well, they always say like innovation just comes from struggle, so it makes sense, I guess.
What I'm saying is TNA invented the internet.
That's what I believe.
In a statement released on TNAWrestling.com, Bill Banks said, "The TNA staff will be reassessing the situation and consider new options in order to ensure these difficulties won't repeat next week. Our goal is to make Impact easy and accessible for all to watch. We want to thank everybody for their patience. TNA is without television because they're currently waiting for the Spike TV deal to start in October, which they haven't announced. Again, it's not official."
For the record, Bill Banks didn't say that last sentence.
No, that's the end of it. It would be funny if that's how they announced it. It's like, guys, we'll be on Spike in October, it's fine. You won't have to worry about downloading those episodes.
He specifically says tentative deal.
You won't have to worry about your XWT ratio, it's fine.
God. I would never use such a disgusting service to steal wrestling. I don't think I've been on XWT in like 6 years.
How do you get wrestling?
They pay for it.
All the time? No, well, I pay for it.
Well, no, yeah, mostly other people pay for it, and then I get their logins.
So TNA has continued to produce TV, partially, of course, to fulfill international commitments, and then they're finding a way there domestically, because they still want to sell some pay-per-views. They still exist.
Yeah, why not?
Again, the TNA deal is imminent. To follow up on the update, to address the problems associated with downloading a TNA Impact off the company's website, TNA reached an agreement with Real.com to stream Impact online. TNAWrestling.com was unable to handle bandwidth requests related to the download.
Going to Real.com right now.
That's a dangerous proposition, but go for it. Of the June 24th episode found exclusively on their website, causing many headaches for the web division, while also leading to complaints from TNA fans. During that week that followed, TNA reached an agreement with Real.com to deliver future episodes of Impact through Real Player video software for easier streaming of Impact. The July 1 episode apparently went well. The video was not of the same quality as the downloaded file, but people could access it quicker.
Should I download Real Player 22 right now?
Have you ever used Real Player?
No.
I don't think anybody has.
I'm a VLC boy.
Yeah, or whatever the built-in tools are.
No, I'm a VLC boy.
For the longest time, I was like, I'm still using Windows Media Player.
You would. It's the most Garrett thing I've ever heard in my life, actually.
Well, it's better than all the new Windows shite. All the new Windows ones are terrible, and Windows Media Player was fine. I wouldn't say good, but I'd say fine.
I did enjoy that Windows Media Player when I played music would have the little strobing effects.
Oh yeah, and the little
matched
bars
up to the songs.
Yeah.
I miss that. I do miss that.
Spotify should have that.
Yeah, I was literally about to say, why doesn't Spotify have like a option that lets you swap from the album art to the little bars going boom, 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 boom.
And a bunch of the things where it's like Spotify has video from it. It's like a 3-second clip on a loop. It's like, I would rather watch the bars, thank you very much.
Give me the bars!
And I don't want lyrics. I don't want to know what the words are. I want to work them out for myself.
It's alright. I don't mind the lyrics. I need the lyrics, but give me the option for the bars.
No.
Oh.
TNA is close to signing a deal with Spike TV to air TNA programming on Saturday nights beginning in the fall season, according to Trade Journal Multi-Channel
TNA
News.
Collision.
Yeah, that's what they were going to abandon the Impact name, because what's a synonym for Impact?
I was going to say, what is an impact if not a collision?
As every show follows the one-word action phrase naming convention of every wrestling television show.
I've been thinking about that. When are we going to evolve?
No, Evolve already happened.
Evolve 42. What was on Evolve 42? What have I got?
So, what? Okay, if you're so mad that everyone's like oomph and slammo for their TNA, for the wrestling TV show,
AEW oomph.
AEW kapow, what would you call your wrestling TV show then, Liam?
I would call it...
You've Got to Be Wrestling Me presents.
It would be You've Got to Be Wrestling Me live on ESPN 2.
It's a catchy name.
Yeah. Alright, let me read the Evolve 42 results to you.
Fine.
Santana, I assume Garrett. No! Okay. What? No, okay, they got this wrong, not me. It is Santana Garrett, I assume. And unless Santana of Proud and Powerful fame was wrestling for the Shine Championship.
That would be rad.
Santana versus Andrea. Ethan Page versus Martin Stone. Ray Horace versus Andrew Everett.
Should be a
Timothy
pretty good match.
Thatcher versus TJ Perkins. Biff
Cool.
Busick versus Roderick Strong.
Oh, he's in the news.
Biff Busick? Nah. Davey Richards versus Trevor Lee. He's in the news.
Trevor Lee?
Ronan versus the Premier Athlete brand in a street fight for the Open United Gate Championships.
That's one of the best Evolve cards ever.
That's what I would say. Live from Barnett Park and Gym in Orlando, Florida.
Sit there. Is that the one with the plants?
I don't know. It wasn't La Boom, and that's the good one.
Nah, but the one that was just the garden center that had some plants there is the best Evolve /FIP venue.
Yeah. Well, that's where Uncle John's friends. which took over wrestling Twitter for like 3 days.
So with WWE moving its programming off of Spike TV, TNA may benefit from a built-in pro wrestling audience on Spike, though, as it would essentially be replacing Velocity. Details of the deal are unknown, nor is it conclusively done, as neither party has confirmed the published report from Multi-Channel News, who I guess are technically the first people to put their flag in the ground, being like, this is happening. So we were talking on the last episode about how the WGN deal just seemed to randomly fall through all of a sudden. I would imagine it's because this Spike deal started gaining actual traction, which is the reason
They're like, oh my god, they're actually going to do it.
Yeah, so the WGN deal, which would have been the launch of the 2005 Monday Night Wars, sadly was not to be, and probably not all that sadly.
I wish one day, huh? Bring it back again.
Would you like to see an actual like AEW versus WWE head-to-head war?
Well, it wouldn't make any sense now because SmackDown's the main show, so we just have to go live with Rampage an hour earlier.
I don't think Rampage would win.
It won that one time, thanks to Bunny.
It's funny, you know the way Rampage is preempted in random time slots for the last like 3 weeks?
Been a bit over the place, yeah.
Every time somebody is watching Rampage, it has taken me by surprise. I'm like, what? Why is Rampage on?
I haven't watched Rampage in a long while.
I don't think I've watched more than 2 episodes of Rampage this year, so I feel like after all the moaning, everyone had like the exact same breaking point with Rampage for some reason. It's just like, now is the time where just everyone has stopped watching it.
Like, he'll do this thing where for like a month and a half, it'll become some A-Stars show where randomly they'll be on it every week. Like, at the start it was Punks, and then Moxley did it, and then like Darby did it or something, and then it's like, now we're back at that stage where it isn't someone's show anymore.
Whose show would you make it?
Well, we don't. There's no point in arguing that now. We have another A show to worry about instead.
That's gonna be Miro's show. Miro's gonna get Rampage.
Miro will probably get the Saturday show. So all the Island of Misfit Toys, all the people who are whiny and complain, you can go to the Saturday show.
I'm sure they'll all get along.
Andrade and CM Punk and Miro.
In an online chat this week, Jeff Jarrett stopped just short of confirming TNA is on the brink of announcing a major TV deal. He said, TNA in 5 years will be very interesting. We just had our 3-year anniversary. We've had our critics all along the way.
They said we wouldn't last a day. They said we wouldn't last a month. They said we wouldn't last a year.
Yeah, but do the bit. We're on the brink of making some major announcements that will send us to the next level. I hope that we will have a stronger domestic and global presence in 5 years. And by that time, we will have had enough to establish us very strongly in the wrestling space. A lot can happen in 5 years, he later added. TNA is about to make some major announcements that will take us to the next level.
It's not wrong.
He's not wrong, to be fair. Regarding Ring of Honor, he said, Ring of Honor is a promotion, in my opinion. Yep.
Done. That's it. That's all he said.
It's like Ring of Honor is a wrestling company that happens to exist.
That people always say is better than us, and it makes us very upset.
That goes for a very niche audience and does it very, very well. A couple guys on the TNA roster enjoy working there, and they have their style of wrestling that caters to their audience. And I don't think it's for everyone.
Okay, like, fuck you, Jeff. Like, I don't think good wrestling's for everyone. I say promoting my wrestling show.
Yeah, but you want to do your holds and your backdrop suplexes and your anaconda vices, and Jeff is 100%. Like, what if you did guitar shots and run-ins and strokes?
Way more interesting.
Yeah, you don't want to do holds when you... Which would the casual fan rather see, Liam? Someone work a hammerlock or someone getting hit with a guitar?
You know, you bring a valid point. I know what I would rather see.
So, Jeff Jarrett is right. Ring of Honor in the mud.
Yep, I changed my mind.
He is very diplomatic, and he's like, and you know what? They should be commended for marketing that way to the niche nerds while we market to nobody?
Yeah. There. You know, it's nice of them to have a market. I wonder what that's like.
Regarding the Matt, Lita, Ed situation, Jarrett said, I would like to know if they have a threesome sex tape coming out.
They don't.
It's also a bit weird, Jeff.
He's like, I'm a heel.
He does enough of that on TV this month. TNA is expected to finally have clearance this week, the week after No Surrender, from Spike TV to officially announce a TV deal for the fall. There was some talk in TNA that they'd be able to make the announcement during the pay-per-view, which I guess they technically did.
In a roundabout way. What if that, like, killed the deal?
I would have to imagine they did that with Spike's permission, right?
It would just be very funny. If they're like, yeah, you can announce it the week after, and they're like, let's just do it on the show.
Yeah, we'd like to slip in a weird little backwards Easter egg, but Spike will never know. Spike are never going to translate it, right?
Spike will never watch it.
That'll never get out.
Do you think anyone from Spike watched No Surrender?
I'd say so. I would say yes, somebody from Spike.
Some poor intern. They're like, you have to watch the wrestling show to make sure it doesn't kill anything.
Yeah, it's like, we want to make sure this is appropriate for us, so if you could please just sit there and watch all of No Surrender.
And the intern's sitting there drinking 10 beers and like, yeah, bars and moves and wrestling. He's like, yeah, it's rules, but on Spike.
And that's how they got the TV deal.
Yeah, perfect. He's like, yo, this shit's backwards. What could it mean?
This is like Fiend lore.
Spike TV intern lore.
Like, you were like, it's a fun idea. It's like, it is basically the exact same thing that feeds into Fiend lore, which is the reason wrestling fans probably absolutely loved it. They should have put it in a backwards QR code, and then it would have been like blowing the internet's mind.
No one would have worked out what that was.
I still don't feel like we need QR codes even today, and yet they still exist.
QR codes have taken over as a staple of media. I don't understand it.
Like, they're useless. Just say a link.
I think, like, having a website on there is easier than putting a QR code, and then I have to, like, pause whatever I'm watching, get my phone, put it up.
Whereas if you just said, go to tnachat.com, you could just be like, oh, it's tnachat.com. I don't have to pause this podcast to scan a QR code. I can just go to tnachat.com.
We should get a QR code.
For our audio medium?
Yeah, and we'll put it on our posters.
No, we'll just describe where the dots are. And
alright,
can...
black dot, white dot, white dot, black dot, black dot, white dot,
large,
black dot,
large,
black dot,
large
white
one,
dot.
small one.
No, I'm doing one by one, so they can put it in.
Swirly pattern.
Whoa, how are we getting that?
We're going wild with our QR code.
One day they'll need to. Red dot.
So Dave, I only included this to kind of dunk on him for being wrong. Spike is putting the show on largely because they're being paid for the time, and those with more knowledge of the deal say it's going to be very difficult to make it work in building a profitable business model. It is a far worse deal than ECW, as ECW was not buying the time, but did have to pay TV production costs. TNA has to do both and has a worse time slot, which WWE hasn't been able to get ratings in since the early days of Confidential. It is believed the announcement would be made sometime after No Surrender, but there is some contractual hold-up reason. We're not aware of exactly why Spike doesn't allow the release of the information until it comes out. But he's like very down on the idea that this is a good TV deal, which like he's not entirely unfounded on, because they just came off a similar deal on FSN that actually TNA outperformed the ratings expectations, particularly for an afternoon time slot, and FSN never gave him anything. So I think Dave comes in with a similar cynicism here. It's like they're probably not even going to do WWE numbers, and then their Spike don't want to like turn that into a deal where they give money to TNA. And you're wrong, Dave.
Like, the interesting thing about Spike is, like, Spike was never like, we don't want this thing anymore. Like, it was, like, the ratings were never the problem with TNA on Spike, which is interesting. Like, they're always kind of, like, happy with what it was doing. TNA just TNA'd it up at the end. So I was like, but, I don't know, Dave's very doom and gloom, like, a lot. Even now, when it comes to TV deals.
We finally hit the stage that every podcast hits, where it's actually just becoming about saying, shut the fuck up, Dave, you were wrong.
Yeah, Dave.
We're in our something to wrestle with and 83 weeks phase of just being like, reading a thing Dave said. It's like, no.
I don't remember that.
Didn't happen. And you believe Dave Meltzer?
LOL Dave. What did Dave say? Whatever the fuck that stupid Twitter account is.
Oh, the terrible Dave accountability Twitter that's actually just like, he just said a normal thing and you're getting mad at him.
Also, half of it's just, I'm going to plagiarize the content that they put up behind a paywall and post it.
It's distressing just how many people have made their personality entirely just getting mad at Dave Meltzer.
And also, it's just Dave. Like, it's just him. Just let him, who cares?
But no, we should be wrestling accountability. It's not at all that he says bad things about the company I like. That's not why I get mad at him at all. That's always why they get
Nah, but he did go 4 3/4 on Julia Tam, so fuck him.